afternoon, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to what was once Heart of Christ Ministry is now Lightwalker Ministry. And so StreamYard, Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm going to get Instagram here on real quick. Checking connection, and we are now live. Instagram, welcome to what used to be Heart of Christ Ministry, which is now Lightwalker Ministries. Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We got a special message for today. So share it. Tell everybody you need to, because today we're going to focus on depression. But there's a few things that we've got to get through here for business-wise before we get going. But today is really going to be about rising above depression. I'm excited for it. In case you don't know, I'm your host, Shaun Robert Grant. I'm going to be coming up and down to Instagram, to YouTube, to all these different areas. So bear with me when my eyes sort of change where I'm going. All right. So a few things we're going to start with here. First and foremost, Instagram. You can't see this, but I will be as loud as I can and clear about what we're doing. First and foremost, if you guys have any feedback, any questions, any ideas that you want to talk about, or that you want Lightwalker Ministry, and I will discuss why we're Lightwalker Ministry here in just a bit. Anything you'd like to discuss and talk about, please, by all means, send us an email at shaung04@gmail.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we possibly can. As always, we're happy for your correspondence. We're happy for your feedback. We're happy just to know that you're alive and listening to what we got going on over here. All right. So with that being said, thank you in advance, shaung04@gmail.com. Also, if you find that this ministry has benefited you in the past, in the present, you know it's going to benefit you in the future, I want you to find it in your heart. If it is in your heart, to sow a seed, a donation of any size of your choice. It only has to resonate. Trust this. I learned this a long time ago, and I really want to say this because this is just not about getting money. This is about you circulating abundance back into the universe. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is so important. When you give without the thought of having to get something in return, okay? You give without the thought of having to get something in return, or you give just because it's out of the goodness of your heart, it will come back to you at least tenfold, okay? At least tenfold when you give. Now, if you give and there's shackles tied to it, you're not going to experience that abundance flowing back into you. I promise you. Give from the heart, give freely, give guided by love, kindness, and compassion, and you will see it prosper in your life over and over and over again. All right? I'm telling you, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. I wrote a book on this stuff, so you got to listen to what I'm saying. You don't have to listen, but so if you decide to give, please, VENMO, Heart of Christ Ministry, we're going to change that in a bit. PayPal, shaung04@gmail.com. ZELLE, shaung04@gmail.com. And then what else? Cash App, we can kind of get to that if you only have Cash App. I can send you my Cash App if you really want to give. And when you do decide to give, what we're going to offer you here, you can't see it up here on Instagram, but on YouTube, you can see it. It's the Endless Prosperity Pack. So any size that you give, somebody gave $2 one time, and it was absolutely remarkable because for $2, she received the Endless Prosperity Pack. And that's 5 videos that take you from zero to financial freedom. And she only had to give $2, a gift of any size. It was the most amazing thing. She's doing so much better now than where she was. And it's all because her heart moved, right? And I wasn't asking for 2 million, 200, whoever it is. I asked for her to give from her heart. And that's what she gave from her heart. Bam, rewarded. Endless Prosperity Pack is yours. Any gift you decide to give. 5 videos, hand selected by yours truly, to take you from zero to financial freedom, right? Zero to financial freedom. As you study the content, as you familiarize yourself with the content, it's going to take you a long way. All right. And then from there, let's get into today's message. Lightwalker Ministry 2022, rising above depression to transform your life. Are you ready? Hail to the Emma Effin. Yes, I am ready to pull you out of depression. If you have been in depression, now I got to say this as a disclaimer. I'm not a therapist, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not certified for any of this stuff. But what I do know is how I help my own self in my own walk of life, and the things that I did in order to raise me up out of the pit of depression and struggle and suicidal thoughts and all that stuff, you know. So it is possible to do that outside of what people consider professional help. You don't necessarily need that. You need to rely on yourself, right? You got to rely on yourself first, because nobody can give to you what you need from that standpoint other than yourself. Okay, so Lightwalker Ministry 2022, rising above depression to transform your life. Okay, and I'll start with a story. Actually, you know what? Let me tell you this: the reason we moved from Heart of Christ to Lightwalker Ministry was this reason. Okay, my DNA is primed. Okay, my DNA is primed to master vibration, frequency, light, and energy. And it's been that way even before I consciously knew or was aware of that truth. Okay. And so I was in a deep meditation. I've been meditating a lot lately. I was in deep meditation, and I got to this place where I was listening to my inner guides, and my inner guides told me it's time to move. It's time to move on from Heart of Christ Ministry and now into Lightwalker Ministry. And a Lightwalker is somebody that is here to walk in the light, to share the light, to spread the light with the essence of their vibration, their divine light, their love, their frequency, and their energy. And so it felt, not just right, it felt 1 billion infinite percent right to make this move at this time. So we're kind of segueing into it. So a couple of things are still Heart of Christ, but we're moving into that space of Lightwalker, the Lightwalker Ministry area. And what better way to do it than to do an episode, a segment on depression. Okay, so I'm 7 minutes in. Let me get to depression. Okay, and so I wanted to start with a story, because I can remember there was a time where I got really depressed. And the only reason we get depressed is because we're in complete and utter resistance to what is going on in life. Okay, when you're depressed, you're telling life, I don't like what you're doing. And because I don't like what you're doing, I'm going to get unhappy about it. And that becomes a spark. Now, a lot of people aren't unaware this is how it works, but this is how it works, right? You'll never see a Buddhist being depressed. Why? Because the Buddhists completely and utterly accept life how it is, right? They accept that. And the truth of the matter is, it just will not happen when you learn to accept life how it is, how it's unfolding, and you use it to your advantage, right? So, perfect example, I don't get every single role that I go out for. Not every single role works itself out. Not everybody buys my book. Not everybody donates to a movie that I'm funding to get filmed. But here's the thing: what I know to be true in my heart and the very essence of my being, whatever is supposed to happen is supposed to happen when it happens. I'll say that again. It sounds like a riddle. Whatever is supposed to happen will happen when it happens, right? So that tells me right there, whatever is going on is supposed to be happening right now. The fact that I am here talking to you about depression tells you that I am supposed to be here talking to you about depression, and you're supposed to be listening, right? Plain and simple. Life makes no mistakes. But when we step into resistance, that is when we get trouble. Okay? When you're resisting, that is when you get trouble. When somebody dies in your life and you're resisting the passing of that person, no matter who it is, and this is hard emotionally to take, it is supposed to happen. Life makes no mistakes. God makes no mistakes. The universe makes no mistakes. It does not under any circumstance whatsoever. And when we know that, when we know it's supposed to happen exactly how it is, reflecting what's within us, that gives us all of the power, yo. All of the power to make us happy, to make us excited, to make us embrace what life is all about. And you know what you say from there? Okay, I know somehow or another life is working out for me. So what am I going to do to make sure that I can embrace that? I'm going to find every single thing possible to be grateful for what life is doing. bada bing, bada boom, step into the room. All of a sudden, you're moving from the lower level of despair and struggle to a place of tolerance. Like you're on a consciousness scale, you're just rising. You get tolerance. You say, okay, I'm going to make this work. Right now, I got one method that I have in my bullet points that I want to share with you, and I don't want to jump on it too quick. So let's get into number one. All right, what do we have to realize? And guys, on Instagram, if you want to tune into YouTube, you can see this will be available. It's available now because I'm streaming, but it'll also be available after this message is done. So you can get all the blueprints and everything else, all the graphics and all that neat stuff. So depression is not the end. It is a blessing awaiting for you to make the change. I'll say that again. Depression is not the end. It is a blessing awaiting for you to make the change. So what does that mean? You see, our consciousness, I'll say this way, our lives are set up so perfectly that when we experience depression, when we experience sadness, when we experience struggle, when we experience hardship, that is the inner spirit showing you what's out of alignment, right? Because the reality is we're always supposed to feel as loving, as happy, as joyful, as peaceful as we possibly can be. That is the truth of all truths. Once again, as we stated, if you are in depression, you are resisting life. You are resisting life, right? And I'll throw this in here. Another way to not be depressed is to not set your happiness outside on things, right? Don't make something happening, something unfolding the reason why you get happy. You jump out of bed and say, I choose to be happy today because I love being happy, right? I hadn't gotten anything, I hadn't received anything, but guess what? I can choose to be happy, right? That's it. Things unfold in life, things happen in life that we do not have any control over other than how we think and how we feel. But sometimes, even then, stuff still happens, right? So when that stuff happens, you know what we have to do? I'm going to choose to be happy about it anyway. So depression, much like anger, much like fear, much like worry, much like all those lower density vibrations and emotions, are there to help you to make the change and transform your life. All you got to say, okay, what is depression showing me? And it starts with always, guys, it always starts with, what am I resisting in my life, right? No matter what it is. It could be losing a job. What are you resisting? You're resisting losing your job. Somebody dies, I'm resisting losing this person, right? You don't get something doesn't go out, right? Or go the way that you want. What am I resisting, right? But keep in mind, make your happiness in here and in here. Don't make it outside, right? Because you're setting yourself up for extreme failure if you do that. Choose to be happy now. Let life unfold. Once life unfolds, enjoy it, but don't be attached to it. You see what I'm saying? Number one, it's amazing. Depression is not the end. It is a blessing awaiting for you to make the change. Okay? Number two, make a choice to be happy no matter what is happening in your life. Choices move the universe into action. Right? Okay. So the first time, well, one of the first times I heard this, excuse me for a sec. One of the first times I ever heard this was Will Smith. He did a video it's called Will's Wisdom. But he did this, I mean, ages ago. He was like 32 and he's like in his 50s now. And he said that just make a choice, right? Make a choice. Once you decide, the universe is going to conform to whatever you decide. Okay? You decide. You make the choice. And in that choice, because you are a co-creator with the benevolent, wonderful, loving universe. The universe is waiting for you to give it a dominant thought, a dominant feeling that is demonstrative enough for it to act upon it, right? Energy is affected in the most subtle ways possible, and it's affected the most by our thought energy, which is spiritual energy, right? So when I say, I am choosing to be happy, and I feel that, that tells the universe, okay, he's choosing to be happy. So guess what? I'm going to be happy with him. And then whatever comes on the outside of me is going to it's going to match up to the happiness that I have within myself. You see, a lot of times depression is just because we're looking outside of ourselves. But if we build the happiness within, if we build the joy, the peace, the love, the abundance within, it's got to reflect. It's universal law. It's got to reflect on the outside, right? And it's just as simple as that. And I'm not telling you just, ignore paying all your bills, ignore all the stuff that's going on, but really dive into it. But dive into it with the idea that, you know what, I'm going to deal with this, but I'm going to be happy. I'm going to choose to be happy, and there's nothing that is going to stop me from being as happy as I choose to be, no matter what it is. It does not matter, guys, what goes on in the outside of life. What matters is what we have in our hearts and what we have in our minds. As Bruce Lee used to say, use your mind. Be like water, shape shift, right? Find stuff to be happy with in your life, especially when you're depressed. Because when you're depressed, what happens is all you can see is doom, gloom, struggle, lack. It seems like a hole that you're never going to climb out of, that you're never going to get out of. And so you got to make sure that, what am I focused on? Because I guarantee you, when you're depressed, you're focusing on everything that's pulling you down into that hole, that's not allowing you to break free from those chains and rise up to the top. Okay? Trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me on that. What's up, Trent? So you got to make the choice to be happy no matter what when it comes to depression, right? When it shows up, deal with it, right? Deal with the resistance that's causing the depression to happen. And when we do that, it's always going to reveal itself. This is how God has set this up, right? You ask the question, bam, here you go. Here's the answer. When you know the answer, okay, how can I transform this situation? How can I alleviate it? How can I pull myself? I don't have to pull myself completely out of depression, but how can I take the next step up, right? From going from being depressed to being at ease or at peace with what's going on, but still choosing to be happy, right? It's all in the choice. Choice moves the universe. All right? Number 3, here we go. Deal, feel, express, and release the main emotions causing your depression. I just told you, deal with it, right? Don't let it become something where all of a sudden the people external and people in the outer reality have to allow you, or they have to come and fix you, because guess what? That's not going to work, right? You've been given every single thing that you need inside of yourself. You don't need, like, people are there, yes, to aid in your progression, but you have all the answers, right? And until we know that, we still struggle, right? You are so strong, so equipped, so powerful, right? Created in the image and likeness of the creator itself, that you can solve any issue that comes up in your life, any issue, by meditating, getting silent, and by praying, and by asking for guidance. Because your heart has all the guidance you need. Intuitively, it will give it to you, it will offer it to you, and it will allow you to rise higher from the space of being where depression creates lack, struggle, misfortune, all these things, right? But you have all the answers in here. You just got to believe that. And once you believe that and you ask for that guidance knowingly, guess what? You're going to rise to the top, folks. You're going to rise to the top. And that's what it comes down to. And we say, bye, bye, bye to depression, okay? You know, I sing like that, right? All right, here we go. So 3, just recapping: deal, feel, express, and release the main emotions causing depression. Okay? Deal, feel, express, and release the main emotions causing depression. Once you deal with the emotions, you're way ahead of the game. It's the emotions that kill us. It's the emotions, the unprocessed emotions. And I'm talking to you guys especially, not all of you, but I know a lot of you just kind of say, oh, I mean, brush it off. I'm a dude. I don't have to feel it. You know, I'm big and bad until it comes back to bite you in your ass, right? Like, because I've been there, right? I've been the stoic individual who didn't need to feel his emotions. And let me tell you, when it started to attack my energy body and my physical body, I'm like, oh God, no, I need to deal with these. And so then you start crying for like 4 days because you never you never had the opportunity to, I guess, experience what you needed from the standpoint of where you were, like when you were feeling the emotions, okay? But just deal with them. That's all you got to do. EFT is a great way to do that. It's a great way to do that without any situation. I mean, without any qualms whatsoever. YouTube, sign on, tap on those points, those meridian lines, because energy is everything. And when you release the energy, you can release the depression. Okay? Number 4. I got 5 for you. I got to roll. I've been here for a minute. Move your body. Physical activity will move depression right out of your system, right? I'm talking like as fast as I can take this shirt off or take this hat off and throw it on the ground. That's what physical activity can do, right? When I was at my deepest point in time of being depressed, you know what I did? I would run. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd run. I'd run at night. I'd put on a song that really, really helped me. And I just wrote an article on medium.com. Check it out when you get a chance. Shameless plug. But the song by Armin van Buuren, it's This Is What It Feels Like. I would turn on that song, keep it on repeat on my iPod, because this is when we had iPods before iPhones, and then eventually you go to iPhones. But I would turn that on and I would run for an hour to that song. I used to run through the streets of Hollywood. I used to run through the lakefront of New Orleans. I used to, run through the Hollywood Hills listening to this because it was helping me to really just move all that depression, that energy, that depressive lower density energy out of my system, right? And whenever I got done, I always felt like a success because the reason basically I was, right? I had planned to run from this point to that point. I did it. It released dopamine. It released these amazing hormones that made me feel like, you know what? As we said in the beginning, this isn't the end. This is just a chapter in my story. But I don't have to let it break me down. So why is it here in the first place? And what can I do to rise above it? And almost every single time, it came from the idea, guys. Listen to me. Listen to me. It came from the idea of accepting life just as it is, right? You can control your thoughts, you can control how you feel, but you can't control life. And the sooner you know that, the happier you'll be. I promise you. That is the key. The therapist won't tell you this. They'll charge you probably about $300-$400 a session, but they won't tell you that. Why? Because they want you to come back. But the moment you stop resisting is the moment you let go of depression completely. You accept life as it is, right? No matter what it is, you accept life as it is, and you say, I'm going to be happy no matter what. Not only am I going to be happy, I'm going to deal with my stuff. I'm not going to sweep it under the rug. I'm going to say, okay, I may not be able to fix this problem completely today, but what can I do as a step towards? And then once you do that, because you made a choice, the universe is going to back you up, and it's going to help you to take it further. And before you know, you'll be singing zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day, right? You'll be in such a better state of being. Not even a better mood, but a better state of being. Okay? So, with that being said, moving on to number 5. Thought I was about to end it, right? Here we go. And this is a motion board. Choose a mantra that you can tell yourself every moment of the day. Example, happiness is for me every moment of the day, right? Now, I added that little incantation where I'm hitting myself because physically it tells the body, I really want you to remember this, right? Happiness is for me every moment of the day, right? Every day and every way I'm getting better and better. Every day and every way I'm getting better and better. We did a video, a reel a couple months ago, and it was really awesome because we took certain sayings and we turned them into like songs, right? So I say every day and every way I'm getting better and better. Every day and every way I'm getting richer and richer, right? And I think I was teaching the money class. It's like money shows up for me to be who I want to be. God damn, money shows up for me to be who I want to be. God damn, right? So find a mantra. You don't have to be silly and crazy like me and be singing it. But I tell you, it changes. You stop taking yourself so seriously because you're jamming and you're busting the move and you're feeling the flow and you're out there doing your thing, right? You can even cabbage patch a bit if you want to take it back to like, the 80s and 90s and stuff. But find a mantra. Find a mantra that you can tell yourself every moment, not every moment of the day, but most of the day, that will always lift you up. And sometimes it can be a scripture. For me, a long time ago, it was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? Or Romans 8:28, all things work together for good to them that love the Lord. Like whatever it is, find that mantra that's going to pull you out, that's going to ignite that nervous system and take you to a level that's higher than that level of depression. Okay? It's easy. It's methodical. Everything in life, you got to realize if you're going to understand how God works, how the universe works, it's in increments and it's methodical, right? Which means it's step by step. You don't shoot from depression all the way up to like zippity doo dah zippity day. No, you go from depression and you go in stages till you finally raise yourself up to the highest level, right? But that mantra just gives you the opportunity to realize and to understand, okay, I'm feeling this, right? This is what's supposed to be. And it's not in a state where you're resisting life, but you're just telling life, okay, life, I understand what's happening, but this is what I'm going to feel anyway, right? So I'm going to feel, what was that? It's like, I swear, I think I have spirits in my house sometimes because something just pulled my hat like that. I know it seems crazy, but it's just like it happens all of the time. And it's not like it's like love taps, right? It's not like Michael Myers or anything. But anyway, as I was saying, it tells life that this is what I'm choosing to feel within myself, right? And when you do that, guess what? Life takes that. Life helps you. And eventually, the circumstances that have caused you to be depressed because you've changed on the inside changes them on the outside, right? It seems like magic, but it's not. So when it comes down to depression, what you got to do is you got to deal with what's on the inside. And once you do, you own it. You're rolling. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that's number 5, which wraps up today's first message of a new era. In case you just joining us, Lightwalker Ministry. Yes. Reverend Shaun Robert Grant in the house. So that wraps up the first message. Look, guys, I'm going to leave this video up on Instagram. I'm going to leave it up on YouTube. I'm going to leave it up on Facebook. I'm going to leave it up on LinkedIn. The one thing I want you to do is if you need to come back and view it, please do, right? It's a gift that's given freely, and there's nothing that you need to be worried about or concerned about under any circumstance whatsoever. Okay? So, with that being said, let's finish up. Okay, so if you enjoyed Instagram, you can't see this, but if you enjoyed this message and you want to, let's say, give some feedback, or you want to, it sparked a topic that you want me to discuss and dive into deeper, please write to us, ShaunG04@gmail.com, right? And I will take it into account. I will review it, see if it's something that I can do justice on in giving you. Or if you just want to say, man, you really helped me. I was depressed and you pulled me out of that depression, and you want to just write to me or write to the ministry, please do so. ShaunG04@gmail.com. Okay. Now, if We had a whole big discussion about giving and all this amazing stuff. And so if you felt that this message has benefited you, this message has touched your heart in some way, shape, or form, okay, and it feels right and it feels like love, kindness, and compassion, because that's the only way you should ever give to anything in any situation whatsoever, and you want to give, please do so. Sow a seed, donate a seed into this ministry. Every little bit helps, every big bit helps. I'm gonna leave it up to you to give, because when you give from the heart without restriction, without shackles, it's coming back into your life multiplied. I know it by experience. I'm living it. I'm living it right here, right now in this moment. I tell you, I promise you, this is how it works. Okay? So if you decide, Venmo, Heart of Christ Ministry, PayPal, ShaunG04@gmail.com. And then we got Zelle, ShaunG04@gmail.com. And let's say you want to do Cash App, just send me a message and I will give you my Cash App if you want to do that to sow into the ministry. But I want to thank you in advance for doing that, because here's the thing, man. Folks, when it comes to their money, they get tied up like, oh, right? Now you talk about something causing depression. Money will cause a lot of depression for people, but it doesn't have to, right? It can be a tool. It can be an ally that helps you to rise higher and to be better and live your very best life. So if you do give, we're going to have the Endless Prosperity Pack for you. And what that is 5 hand-selected videos by yours truly to help you to go from zero to financial freedom in a matter of, well, I don't know how long it's going to take, but if you study it and you make yourself aware and you catch a lot of the stuff that I'm telling you and teaching you, you will experience a change in your financial state. I promise you, it's better to teach a man to fish than to give him fishes, because if he eats all those fishes, he's going to be back, right? And we want him to be able to fish on his own and have his own abundance, because that's what happens. Because if you take away the person that's given all the fish, what is there left, right? The other person now is just better off. Well, not better off. They're just kind of stuck out, because they never learned to fish. So we want to teach everybody how to fish. Endless Prosperity Pack teaches you how to fish. And that's a gift of any size of your choice. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us today. It has been a pleasure. Lightwalker Ministry, first message of the day. With that being said, your homeboy is out of here. We're going to sign off on YouTube first and then Instagram. I'm going to cut you guys out of here. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, thank you so much for joining me. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care.
Every dream begins with a vision. A vision that sees everything before anyone else ever can. A vision that ignites the endless power to make all your dreams come true.